So we are back here in Bow, New Hampshire at this house where we had originally done some filming when we were erecting the SIP panels back in March, and here we are in October, just finishing up now. Another 2 weeks and this house will be done, and this is how it's coming together. It's really just coming out great. It's a beautiful home. It's very, very energy efficient. Looking forward to that final blower door test and seeing where it comes in. And throughout the house, we were able to incorporate a lot of sustainable and natural and local materials with the homeowner's help that we're very proud of in this home.
Well, there's a lot of differences between this house and your traditional build. One of the main components that would, if you were to rip this house apart, would be the SIP walls. Structurally insulated panels. Essentially, it's one giant erector set, 5.5 inches of foam with plywood on either side of it. It's giving us about our mid-40s, R45 or so on the walls, just by using this foam technology with conventional 2x4s, 2x6s in the walls for certain structural elements. But besides that, the foam is actually taking the load of the roof, of the windows, of spans, etc., etc. And just that really sets it apart. A house like this, starting from the bottom up, is we have local granite here quarried right here in Concord, New Hampshire, which is a beautiful architectural element to the house. Our roof here is a metal, a steel roof, actually a steel roof. It's anodized in color to prevent any rusting. It prevents any asphalt or anything in the house. So again, we're able to have no fossil fuels anywhere in the house or in the use of the building of the house. Again, cedar shakes and whatnot adds for a really nice traditional element to a modern house. All the trim on the house is a brand Miratech, which essentially is a second-generation trim board. They're able to now take all the scraps, the parts and the pieces, the sawdust, the cut-offs, etc., make that into a pulp and actually board press out essentially MDF, painted MDF. MDF is a type of plywood. I think they Google that one, multiple density fiberboard, maybe? You can Google that one. But it makes for a great trim, because we're able to not have to harvest more trees for this house. So between the SIP walls and the trim, the amount of board feet that we're saving is pretty cool. And then you couple that with all the rest of the lumber being FFC certified, makes for a big difference in the sustainability of the forest products, of the trim, giving us to know that we have that next house to build.
What we're seeing here, this is actually the southern face. This face of the house is actually facing due solar south. And so it's really designed to capture a lot of the passive heating and lighting elements so that when you are in the home, there isn't a lot of artificial lighting that's needed throughout the course of a day. Even on cloudy and overcast days, it just feels light and airy inside the home. And that's a definite credit to the design of the home and how that was accomplished. We're really excited about this house and what it means to me and my company. This is I think going to be the best house that we've built to date in terms of energy efficiency and sustainability on a whole perspective. Really excited to get those final blower door test numbers and see where the house comes in terms of energy efficiency and what that final analysis is. And also to follow this with the clients as they live in the home over the coming year and over this coming winter to see how the home performs for them with the geothermal system that we installed, as well as all of the incredibly energy efficient detailing that we did to construct the home.
Well, the geothermal system here is a geo-to-air system. I guess the simplest way to describe that is we're pulling consistent temperature water out of the ground, running that into a heat pump, which brings the temperature up, and then that water at about 140 degrees is passed over a condensing coil that warm air, or that air has been passed over, that heats the air. As far as like the actual general public knows, this system essentially is no different than what you think of as the hot air system you grew up in, the hot air system that your parents had. It's from a performance standpoint. The big difference again is in the efficiency of the system, how that heat and or cooling capacity is generated, and then what happens to that heating and cooling temperature degrees in the house. houses we grew up in were super porous. The amount of air that was leaking in, the amount of air that was leaking out is incredible. If you really saw it, if you actually did the test and saw the amount of air infiltration, it's amazing. How the water is heated, and then how the water and/or air gets to where it's going. The amount of heat loss that we would experience in a traditional system is amazing. Having the super insulated ductwork. I have these ducts in insulated walls that are insulated themselves. I think R6 or something like that, just on the heated lines themselves to prevent that heat loss, to keep the heat where the heat is supposed to be. And again, it's just it's all based on efficiency. It's not a new technology. It's a new application. Combining an efficient system with a super efficient house. This is a very expensive system compared to a traditional boiler. If you're talking a magnitude of 2.5 to 3 times what you would pay for a traditional boiler heating system. So, but again, it pays off in the long run, and you're not having to use fossil fuels to heat things. Use electricity, and then you can choose where you get that electricity from. Whether you buy it from your provider or you're actually able to generate using your own PV panels to be able to heat that. And again, just how the unit's put together, how the interplay between the heat pump and a water heater happens, and just what the homeowner and the client is looking for and expecting. Knowing that you can have some supplements, wood, etc., that allows you to use your heat pump less, which is your major expense, but be able to have an efficient system and efficient house. But it really comes down to the efficiency of the house itself. Anything you put inside it is just going to be another crown jewel in the crown.
It's really an intelligent hedge as well to invest funds in decreasing energy consumption and utilizing alternative energies as opposed to relying on the way things have been done. So this has been a great project that I think sets a great standard on how folks should think about energy and consumption in a home when they're designing or thinking about their space for where they're going to be living. Inside the home, we have local flooring throughout. Maple that is from Maine, local maple hardwood flooring that we installed, as well as all of the slate is from Vermont, all natural products sourced locally here within the area. We're fortunate enough to have all the cabinets as well be locally made with local hardwood species. And the client really did well to select products and materials that were sustainable, local. They very much cared about engaging with the local community and making sure that products and businesses were supported locally as they built the home, and we were just more than happy to be involved in that as well.
For the most part, Vintage Kitchens, a local company out of Concord, New Hampshire, did all the custom elements of this and the install. Did a great job on it. The radius piece of the quarter-sawn cherry top over here, to the custom glass pieces. They also did some custom elements around the corner in the pantry, and working with them has been great. Really gave us a flawless, flawless design aspect to a very tricky project, and it was good to be able to work with those guys. And again, having a nice local company to work with is great. Instead of just sending all the money to some overseas cabinet company that is building an inferior cabinet, we're able to get some quality in this, able to get a really good quality product to be able to install in this house.
Another great thing that we were able to do on the site was reclaim the land. This was all like an old gravel pit here, and a lot of forested land where we were able to reclaim it, reslope a lot of the natural grades, as well as create over 15 acres of open field habitat that was previously not here, and we've already seen turkey and fox and coyotes and deer and moose, and just since we've started working here, we can see already how we've increased the ecology in this one little micro area that we've been working in, and it's great to see that. In this particular case, we really are able to leave this land, ecologically speaking, way better than what we found, and I think the the local wildlife are going to respond to that as well.
Between the architect, the client, and Shane's own experience, that was kind of the impetus of, of where we are now. Being able to get a house that both is architecturally stunning and energy efficient and utilizes local products, local floors, local slates, local stone, to be able to get the whole package. Not just a house that performs well, not just a house that's energy efficient, a house that is, be able to use local resources and local talent. So, we really try to be able to capture that here at Ridgeview.